Welcome back. So today we got an oil change on the toaster, and then we're going to continue working on the monstrosity. I think today we're going to make a goal of trying to drain the fluids and maybe begin disassembling the turbo kit. I think that's probably a good goal to have. But first, and arguably more importantly, we need to get the oil changed on this thing. I put about 4,000, a little over 4,000 miles on it since I bought it. It's been doing pretty good, and I've been keeping an eye on the oil every time I get gas, and the oil still actually doesn't even look that bad. Like, it's probably like, you could tell it's getting close. We're gonna go ahead and change it anyways. I wanna keep this thing from being an oil burner that these notoriously are.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm gonna get my sisters and hang out for a little bit.
Okay. Where are you, pinch weld? Okay. Alright, that should probably be enough room, maybe a little more. Alright. I gotta figure out what this thing even has. Alright, what am I looking at here? Oil filter looks easy to get to, drain bolt's right there. Okay. Oh, okay. Wow, I'm so used to working on shit boxes. This actually isn't bad. Toyota, good job. Yeah, it's pretty black. Ugh. Yep, they cranked that on there. Yeah, so that's probably the dealership that did that. All right. You can tell I'm an amateur. Perfect. The flies drive me nuts. Check the oil level. So, we're gonna check, make sure there's no leaks underneath. Ooh. All right, let's get this bitch out the garage, out the way. Let's park this bitch on the curb. If any of you guys can relate with having a white trash garage, you'd know you're constantly stepping over shit. All right, so, my beloved, where are we with this? Okay, so what I need to do next is probably drain all the fluids. That be my old pan right there. Just because I don't need it like right up my butt. What are you? Just gonna have to line it up and stuff to make sure that all the coolant comes out. But I guess what we'll start by doing is loosening the coolant reservoir. Listen to that pressure. Son of a bitch. Why you no come out? Well, this is a clusterfuck, isn't it? And I was right, it's 13. And I left it not super tight, which is the right way of doing things. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, that stinks. Almost smells like gear oil. It's got like a hint of something disgusting in it. Alright, just like that, there's a massive Ford Maverick in the garage. So, now, we should be drained on oil. I think these hold like 2 quarts, if I remember correctly, or a quart and a half, something like that. It's definitely not as much, but I cannot remember how this comes off, honestly. Maybe I filled this incorrectly last time, I don't know. But this is definitely the drain right here. So we need some kind of Allen. Probably just gonna fucking... Had to use the breaker bar to get it off because my little socket was not enough and I He-manned it last time I put this on, and I'm pretty sure I was the one working on this last. So hopefully I don't get soaked in fluid. We're gonna find out. That's a problem. Nice. Okay. So, wow. Okay. There's nothing in this motherfucker. It's any wonder why it was fucking busted. Alright, so I think what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm just gonna start removing cooling system components in the core support in the front, and then I will probably drain power steering fluid from like one of the lines. Alright, pigments underneath. And the realization hits me every time I'm working on this thing of how much I miss driving it. I really do. So we have a hood latch assembly that's probably just gonna be tucked to the side. I don't feel like pulling the cord out. I break shit. I'm notorious for breaking bolts. Almost every time I work on something, I break a bolt. I'll probably break a bolt doing this. I hope you can see this. I'm telling you, the older I get, the more I'm wanting a Scat Pack every day. I'm taking these little bolts off here. There's still 2 around back, but to get to them, I'm probably gonna have to take these lines off, which is fine because I already drained the coolant. Yep. Somebody sent that motherfucker home. If you can tell. Threads are pretty junk. This, where'd it go? Right here. It's this like little belt loop, and it just goes over that little clip right there, so nothing major. And then the one bolt holding it on was, if you could see, sorry, the shadow was like right there. And then you want to get off of there. Yep, I was correct. It just pops right off. There's still a little bit of coolant. Oh, yep, as you can see, I'm dripping it everywhere, so I'm gonna dump it in the coolant dump. Core support here, we've got hella lines held in with zip ties, of course. This car, you know, anytime you modify a car, you have to move shit around, you break clips, you come up with a little aftermarket, you know, I mean, and this is useful shit. Like, this is stuff I'll probably end up reusing or rerouting in some way. But yeah, like that zip tie is gonna have to go. This will have to disconnect. This was a coolant bypass. Originally, this is where your coolant does go, but I had to create this weird T thing because I was ripping the oil cooler out and I was basically just bridging the line. I didn't want to have to replace the line all the way back. But I'm gonna actually start by removing this heat shield right here. That way I can kind of like get in here and see what hoses need to be disconnected where. Like I see one Seems to be the theme for today's episode is 13, 13, 13. Alright, well that's the hood cable. Guess that didn't even really have to get removed from there. So I have no way of really testing like how much AC is in my system. Yeah, there's definitely still Freon in the system. I gotta figure out how to get that out without killing myself. Alright, so last I was here, I cracked open a line that I probably shouldn't have. And a bunch of toxic gas got in the garage. So that's dissipated. There we go. Oh, wow. There's still a lot of coolant in you. Alright, so where we're at now is I got the radiator out of the way, got some of the lines out of the way. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to try and get the little coupling right there for these extra little radiator lines out. Just free up a little space over there. You're supposed to fucking... I guess you could do that too. This is just a little PVC line. Oh, okay. Oh, what are you? Oh, that's just that one coolant line. Like they left the lines in there for show. Literally. Come look at this. So, that's the EGR line that runs to the downpipe. As you can see, that's not a free-flowing hole, is that? So why leave that connected? Why even leave that? Like, just plug that. I got the big boy channel locks out because I'm done asking. Now we're to the messy part. And that is the lovely power steering. So this I'm probably just gonna disconnect and have like a cup to catch this shit, something big. Right. This right here. Yep, there it goes. Alright, so we got the turbo shit off finally. I did a bunch of work off camera, but last you seen I was emptying all the power steering fluid shit, and I had to start by dropping the downpipe, and then I had the exhaust manifold, but some of the bolts you had to tilt the exhaust manifold to get off, and then some of the bolts to take, to be able to tilt it, you had to take the fucking turbo off, and to take the turbo off, you had to get the, the hot side fucking taken off. It was a big pain in the ass, but the turbo is off. There it is in all of its glory right there. We've got valves exposed on this side, which is pretty cool to see. And at this point, all that's left for the turbo stuff is the some of the little electrical jumper stuff that's on here, and then this turbo feed line and this return line that goes into the block right there. Other than that, it's pretty much all out from here. There's our strut tower brace out. So now we got some tiny little bolts right here. Jesus, that was tight. So as you can see right here, it's welded. These are weld-on fittings. So we're gonna have to take them off here. Might leak everywhere, might not. These are some really fine threads. I'll show you guys. Okay. Go on a deserted island, what would you bring with you? It would probably be crescent wrenches. I was chasing down the drivability issues of this car, and I was worried that the injectors were bad, or the seals were bad, rather. Nope, just turns out that compression issues were happening, and I just didn't know. That broke it loose. There's the fuel rail. God damn. If you buy injectors, buy injector dynamics. You're good shit. Off screen, I got the downpipe stuff started. So I got the downpipe here, that section out, and then I just got out this little bendy section, which is kind of a pain in the butt. I'm also not sliding on that anymore, which makes it a little more difficult because there's just not enough clearance between the two jack stands there for me to get in there, and I don't feel like coming from the side because that requires me to move all that out of the way. Here's that other section I was talking about. So the downpipe, before it came down, ran in between the oil pan and the transmission here and went above, like this little S pipe here, went over the steering rack. Ow. And connected to the exhaust right there. So this one has a hanger holding it up. I'm gonna leave that connected for now. And then what I'm gonna do is disconnect the stuff down there. But while I'm down here, I figured I would start taking off the P-clamps here, off of the fuel line stuff, because I have my trusty Milwaukee. I'm going to try and rebirth myself here through the jack stands, which is sketchy as hell. But I have found peace in the safety of the cardboard. All right, so like I said, you're not gonna be able to see too much of the P-clamp action, but I am going to reuse these. Use self-drillers, that's funny. That's funny, that's good shit. I am going to reuse these when I run fuel lines again. Makes too much sense not to reuse them. The hole's already there. Fucking gross. Now you can see me and my massive forehead. Remember how I told you that light is brighter than the sun? It's because it is. I'm gonna have to grab a wrench, because somebody didn't use their brain when they fucking put this exhaust together. But that's okay. We can't always use our brains here. Limited space. This is when having a lift is fucking amazing, but I don't have lift money. I did look at like one of those like little low profile lifts, like the little, you know, for poor people lifts, and they're kind of expensive too. They're not that bad, but they're kind of expensive. All right, nasty fucking spiderweb covered day. So it's any wonder this thing used to clunk. Like, I'm finding so much hoopty shit under here, it's not even funny. Ugh. Wow, that's brutal. Ugh, rocks. Rocks feel good on my back. Ugh. Ugh. Doesn't that sound amazing? This right here is what I just took off. And in there is where I need to go. Notice how they very graciously cut a hole in the heat shielding to clear for it so we could do this. Hit my frame rail every time. I wonder how bad it looks under there. All right, now I gotta keep this up without having it smack me in the head. I need to hit it with a hammer. Yeah, it's moving, whatever. It's over the part that secured it, so. I will take this off once I disconnect the S here, which you can't even see because the lighting's terrible and it's upside down. It's not upside down to me, but there you go. Now you can see. And I need to deal with this zip tie conglomerate, which I'm stupid. and I forgot to bring a blade with me. I also got to see where it goes into. I know it comes up into the trunk and connects to the surge tank, which I will show you guys here in a little bit. All right, we're on to some cool shit. So we got to disconnect the lines from the surge tank. This is my original surge tank. I have my radium one. And then this right here is going to be the new surge tank, which is really, it's just going to be a fuel cell at this point. We're doing away with the factory. I moved that stuff out of the way so I can get in here and finish this up. A lot of this is just going to be cutting zip ties at this point, but I wanted to disconnect this stuff here first. Now, one of the things is I have two Walbro 855s inside of here. I'm going to be taking one for myself to drop in here, and then one of them will be going with the surge tank. We don't need the big boy. I'll just grab the regular one. Now we're going to start undoing all the fuel lines here. Okay, so I forgot to film an outro since I was on a pretty tight schedule that day, but you have the gist. Next episode, I'll get to removing the fuel stuff off of the car, and I'll begin removing the engine and transmission. As always, thank you guys for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at Zoe the Z-Tech if you'd like to see updates on progress and other car-related stuff that I'm doing.